Okay, guys. Hi, it's Sarah. And this is my first time recording a screen capture, so it's going to be a little clunky. The first thing I wanted to show you guys, I'm using Audacity. And the first thing I did was I listened to all of the audio that you sent, and I cut and pasted the files that I wanted. And the way that I did that is, I know you probably can't hear it, but I listened to everything, and I will highlight parts. You can highlight just the parts that you want to play, and then click play. Okay, so then it's just simple like cut, Control X. And then for this, I wanted to just do it in a different file. So you can cut or copy, which is actually copying is better because then you don't lose anything. And then I put it in where I want it, and I push paste. Okay. If you don't want it, you just highlight it and click delete. Very simple. Now, if you have a space inside, like right here, it's you probably can't hear it, but there's some like desk noise or something. You can do a couple of things here to get rid of that. You can amplify it way down low. So amplify, the highest it'll give you is that, so it will hit the top and bottom of the video part. So you can give a preview of it, which makes that desk noise super loud. That's what it would look like. You'll notice that the highest peaks that it would get, it fills the screen. The undo, magic undo, Control Z is amazing. You can just amplify it down to nothing. You can fade in or fade out if it's something that you want to keep. You can also do noise reduction, which is automatic. It'll get rid of a lot of the sounds in the background. Now with your file, I'm actually not even going to do that because I'm going to put music under the whole thing to make it more dramatic and more funny. But to do noise reduction, you would click noise reduction. You get a noise profile. So for example, that kind of noise, I want them to figure out to do that automatically. So I click noise profile, and then I select the whole track. Control A is the easiest way to do that. And then you go back to noise reduction and click OK. And it leaves all of the good noise, and it takes away that stuff in the middle. So now I'm going to listen to that same part again, and there's nothing there. I've been a lawyer for over 35 weekends. And you may be able to hear that or not, but it sounds a lot cleaner. So actually I'm going to keep it because it didn't hurt it at all. Sometimes it makes the voices sound a little, I don't know, choppy, but it worked really well here, so I'm going to leave it. You guys are hilarious, by the way. Okay, now I'm going to save the whole thing. I save often. So another thing, you don't need the clapping part, which I love because it's a visual, like really sharp. I'll show you what it looks like on the screen if you clap. So right there, it gets just a single very quick peak. So you can see that was clearly a clap. This is Tori's voice, very like deep and round and booming, and this is Kelsey's voice. The same thing pretty much happens with both me and Toph. The woman's voice somehow is less full. I don't know why. It probably picks up more bass tones. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So you can record things on different tracks when people are recording with multiple microphones, especially in different locations. They'll do the clap so they can sync up the audio. So for example, Toph and I will both clap, and then let me give you another clap so you can see what it looks like. So then what I'll do to line up those claps, I will take the whole file and click time shift right here, and it will take the, let's do it this way, take this file and I will align it visually so that the claps sound at the same time, and that way the conversations will line up as well. Of course, if you're recording over Skype, that doesn't necessarily work. And also, rhythm-wise, Toph and I are off. He seems to think we clap automatically at the same time, but that's a story for another time. But time shift will basically move the whole file, the whole track, left or right. So I could do it up here. Oops. Undo. I don't know what I just did. I don't know why it's not doing it. Hi, will you time shift for me, please? There we go. Oh, it's only time shifting where I selected, so. Hi. What are you doing? As you can tell, I'm still learning as well. So these are the different selection tools you can do. This one is your basic cut and paste, etc., etc. I showed you Amplify already. The other thing I use a lot is fade in, fade out. That does just what it sounds like. Normalize basically gets everybody approximately to the same volume. I actually like the volume difference you guys have because it makes sense with the scene that you played. But you can do that way. Compressor will compress the sound and make it automatically sound more focused and louder and brighter. Again, I don't think I need to do that with your file because whatever microphone you're using picked both of you guys up really, really well. The other thing I use a lot is generate silence. So, for example, I get a lot of bleed from the headphones that I'm using right now, which is why you probably hear some of the background noise, like my daughter in the bathroom right now. But if you want to just take that stuff out entirely, you highlight what you want, click Generate, and click Silence. Boom, completely gone. So,
I've been a lawyer for over.
By the way, if you only want to hear one track, you can mute that track. So now all I'm hearing is this one. Wow, there's a lot of bleed from my headphones. So hopefully you can hear some of what I'm hearing. Okay, to get rid of a track, you easily just click this, and the whole track is gone. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to show you is, I'm going to unmute this. Something I just learned is the gain, which nobody ever explains. They talk about gain, blah, blah, blah. What it is, it's basically amplifying or de-amplifying a track, an entire track, without affecting what you visually see. So for example, this is the level you hear of your voices now.
I've been a lawyer for over 35 weekends.
And if I up the gain 15 decibels, this will probably blow my ears out.
Fake sons.
I've been a lawyer for over 35 weekends, and I'm currently dating the Bill of Rights for.
So because it's already naturally like a good volume, it sounds really distorted to me. I don't know if you can pick that up. But so I haven't amplified you guys at all, and I'm gonna undo that so it's a gain of 0. This is a balance between the channels. I've never used it. What I usually do, in fact I'm going to do it now so you can see it. Voices don't need to be in stereo. Like, that's just not how podcasts work. So basically what everybody does is they take the track and they stereo track to mono. It also just makes it easier to edit.
I've been a lawyer for over 35 weekends.
And it doesn't really change the sound much at all. Okay. So, the next thing I'm going to do, now that I've lined the tracks, I've taken out the noise, I chose the best pieces of each of the different you guys did like 3 or 4 takes, and I pieced together what I thought was the best line read for each one, or the best flow, or what have you, and that's what it looks like. You can get the whole thing in one screen by putting Control and then using your mouse wheel. Scroll in or out. Now I see the whole minute 45. Or you can get in real close so you can see what individual pieces are. So if, for example, there's one word that just doesn't sound right, you can find another place where that person says the word, and you can cut and paste that into a different piece. It doesn't sound perfect, but it's easier than getting someone to re-record for sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in music, and the way that you can get music is there's a few places you can get free or unlicensed music, meaning you can use it for free. Toph turned me on to the YouTube audio library, and it will tell you, you're free to use the song in any of your videos, or it'll say, give credit to so and so. So I found, here's something funny. Are you ready? I found this artist. I liked their style, so I just started digging into the long list of what they did, and I accidentally chose the same artist as the Gravity Beard theme song. How funny is that? Anyway, the track that I want to use is called The Great Avenger. So I downloaded it just by clicking the download button. I'm going to go back to here, and I go to File, Import, Audio, and I find it. And it comes in here. So, I am going to, it's clearly really loud, so if I play these two together, oops, the home button helps a lot to get it right at 0. So I'm going to click play. I can't hear your words at all. But what I can do is fix the gain while I'm listening until I get a good balance of the volumes. And so visually, there's no difference. But now I can hear your words much better than I can hear the music. That's one way to do it. Or I'm going to take this whole track. You can go to track. What was it? Where is it? Select. There's a select. No, then our edit. You can select, go right from the track start to cursor, or cursor to track start, whatever, or just do Control A. So click here, Control A. No, just this track. You silly gooses. And I'm going to de-amplify. And I'm going to de-amplify by, I think it was set about, there you go. That seems about good. So you can barely see it, but for me that visually helps me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this track over because I want the music to start a little before Kelsey starts talking. So now I time shifted that over. Now I click home. You can use a spacebar to hit play also. Okay, and then I want her a little bit earlier, so I'm going to erase like a second or so.
A liar sits next to a shelf of books. The books are very wide. They have eaten too many words.
Have you been hurt in an accidental car? Has the government sold your lungs without asking nicely? Are you mesothelioma?
And now I just listen through to see how the music lines up.
The liar opens a briefcase.
You don't need to watch me do that. Another thing you can do is if you want to increase the volume for a certain part. So like right here,
Makes sense.
I've been a lawyer for over 35
like the music
weekends.
is
And I'm
really
currently
quiet
dating
in
the
there.
Bill of Rights for fun.
So I'm going to click the envelope tool, and I'm going to say this is the envelope that I want to work with. And in there, I can increase the volume for a certain amount and then fade it out like that. So you'll notice that it gets louder in that certain section of it. So let me hear what that sounds like.
I've been a lawyer for over 35 weekends, and I'm currently dating the Bill of Rights for fun.
We see the Bill of Rights. It's in love. The lawyer will break its heart. There's nothing we can do.
Let me use it to send your asbestos to court. I will wear 2 suits, and I promise to steal the judge's gavel for you.
Okay, that sounds awesome. So I'm pretty happy with how that sounds. Now at the end, I'm going to go back to the selection tool.
Phone digits appear. It's your social security.
I'm going to do the same thing over here. From right at the end of where Kelsey speaks to a little bit beyond that. Oops. Yeah, right there. No. And, oh, I have to push the shift key. No, I don't. What are you doing? Envelope tool. What are you doing? Okay, well, I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. So I'm going to take this part and I'm going to fade in. No. Oh, I want the envelope tool. Oh, that's because I'm not hitting the envelope tool. God, I'm an idiot. Envelope tool. Jeez. Click there. Click here. Then I'm going to click right there, and I want that to get... No. I make this many mistakes when I'm working on my own, too. I want it to get real loud for a minute. Right after Kelsey speaks. Hold that for a second, and then I want it to fade out completely. Not that slow. Okay, now I'm gonna listen to what that sounds like.
The phone digits appear. It's your social security.
Okay, and then I'm gonna fade that out faster. Effect. Oops. Stop. Fade out. And this whole part I'm gonna make just a little bit louder. Not that loud. Okay.
It's your social security.
Okay, I did that a little too early. So I'm going to do that right here. Amplify. There's about 10.
The phone digits appear. It's your social security.
Okay, so I want it to actually fade out there. This sounds a little bit sloppy to me. Sounds a little bit like the Terminator too, which I love. And then I'm gonna zero it out. Okay, so let's say I'm done. I'll probably play around with it a little bit more. But to totally finish, I'm going to click File, save it always, then Export Audio to an MP3, say Lawyer TV commercial. Click Save. Here's where you can select the metadata. I like to call my production company Silly Funny Things. The track title is Lawyer TV commercial, and I'm doing this for Gravity Beard, so I put in the album title as Gravity Beard. And of course, this is clearly comedy. None of these things really matter as far as I can tell, but if you are listening to it just as an MP3 in like iTunes or something, these things would probably show up on their screen and sort it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it'll export the entire file into whatever folder you just set. And that's it. And then you can send that. I usually test it to make sure it sounds all right, and then I email it to Toph or whoever you want to do. And then uploading to Podbean, etc. I just learned all that, so if you want help with that, let me know. But yeah, that is my process. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm still learning myself, so hope this was helpful.